Hello, welcome to the show. I mean, really, honestly, it happens every time in every single cover up. Now, I'm not saying this is a cover up because over on this channel, we speculate, we talk, we ask a lot of questions. And when there's things like, oh, deleted messages, the person's missing and then later found dead, and the phone isn't readily handed over, like, hey, I got the guy's phone, right? But then you have to look around at the real circumstance and go, wait a minute, there's that many people on that island where Nolan Wells went, or that area. Maybe it's not an island really, but an area. Thousands of people with hundreds and hundreds of boats, and nobody sees this boy after 5 p.m. Did you hear of anybody seeing this boy after 5 p.m.? It's still daylight for hours. You're telling me out of all them people, as big as this case is, not one of them comes up to the sheriff and says, I saw him at 7. Okay, so there's the big problem, is there's the biggest red flag, is you have that many people and nobody sees the boy at all after 5 p.m. So where the world was Nolan Wells after 5 p.m.? It's daylight. What's going on here? There are boats in the water that are like boat to boat to boat. You could almost parkour the water with the boats that are there. So there's plenty of people. Now, I'm hot on this because when I said that there is always something happening here in a cover-up, one of the things you get is damage control. You feel me? Damage control. Here's how it works. What happens usually is that you're covering a case and you're like in it, getting deeper, going down rabbit hole, checking this, checking that, and you're suspicious of everything because you're like, this don't make sense. Cover up, right? Is when things don't make sense because the timeline's all like what, instead of like, a smooth sailing ship, no pun intended here. But when the timeline's all like, oh, it was at 3, no, it was at 5, no, it was at 4:30, no, it was here, it's because the time ain't going to be changed. The time's what it is when something happens. So if you come out and your friend is missing and you say the last time you saw him is at 3 o'clock, but your buddy that was with you is seeing him and you're all together later, then one of you boys is fibbing. One of you boys is making shit up. Okay? Because either you saw him at 5 or you saw him at 3. Then the mother comes out and it's 4 o'clock, 4:30, and you're all like, no, not today, you ain't gonna pull this shit again. All right, next thing that happens in a cover-up. This is from my experience of over 150 cases under our belts that we have done together for the last 5-6 years here on YouTube. Okay? In a cover-up, you're down that rabbit hole, you're looking around at everything, everything's getting all suspicious because none of it's making sense. Like I said, timeline's all wonky. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, somebody comes up and says they're the best friend of the victim. They often use that term, best friend. That was my best friend. And then they guilt trip you into having to swallow that witness account that they produce. See, here's what I'm saying. Like in the Jay Slater case, there was some guy, Josh something, I can't even remember his last name, that when it came time for court, all of a sudden poofs up out of nowhere and claims to have spent all the entire trip with Jay Slater, basically, and his buddies, and now is ready to give his story how this was an accident. Now, it didn't work out because court saw through him and realized this guy is like a stooge, like damage control. And so he was removed and they went back to their old narrative and still went with the accident thing. But here's my point. This boy that's come up, what is it, Trayston Shepard? Okay. I would all be like, yeah. But there's some major red flags, 3 to be exact, that got me looking at him sideways. Now, I don't want to put no heat on him, but he did it to himself because of the language that he used about no one wanted to see Nolan die. Excuse me? Excuse me? What the hell? Okay, the language, it just isn't right. But, we all have our own way of speaking. We'll let that go. All right, let's talk about how Rolling Stones produced information saying that they were given the metadata. How about do your own damn research instead of taking it from the kids and saying, oh, there's some metadata. How do you know that's the right metadata for that picture at the pool? Because you were given metadata. Because a few of the kids said, yeah, that's a different time. Yet we got a grown-ass man in the back of that pool water of that picture that looks like he's damn near in his 40s, and he's got USA shaved in his chest. And if that's happening back in June, that's kind of quinky-dink that this was put out not until it didn't show up on their feed before, but all of a sudden, we got Nolan going missing, and it pops up, and then they delete it. Okay, that's weird. And then, mom and dad of Nolan, they don't know that boy. They never ever knew that boy a day in their life. And he's saying that he is Nolan's best friend. We got problems. And then, 4, he actually comes out here. Not only does he debunk, which we're going to be talking about, this boat footage in the middle of the day, last thing we know that's even available that suggests that Nolan might have been around that area. He confirms Nolan's on the other side of the boat out in the water right there by the boat. And the time is over an hour after the friends say they're around Nolan last time they saw him. So the data points out that it's like 401, 404. We'll see. So there's some timeline screwing there. And then, well, let's just get into it together. There's a lot to cover today. I'm all like, OMG, we got damage control going on. And we're not going to just take it. We're going to look at it all. We're going to question it. If that's not your thing, if you're all like, let the autopsy happen, then go do that. Remember, you're the one clicking the buttons, not me. Don't be throwing your shit on us because you don't know how to control yourself. Now, if you want to come into the group and you want to participate and look at this and understand it more, and you have a ton of questions, you're absolutely welcome. I don't care what color you are because white people go tan all the time to get darker. So what the hell does the color of your skin have to do with anything at all? Nothing. Because you are a flesh and blood. Okay? And blood don't know color. Right? You got O blood, you can give it to anybody. It don't matter. Your color. All right. So put your seatbelts on. It's going to be a bumpy ride today. You're right, Nikki, because I've been doing some thinking about all this crap that's coming out about this Tristan. I don't like him. Not because something about him. No, it's because of the stuff where he's coming in and he's debunking a bunch of stuff, but yet there's nothing really behind it to suggest that we got any more proof than his word. You feel me? And the family don't even know him? Your son's best friend, as that man put it. I don't think so. Just my thoughts. Welcome to 1111 True Crime. Mama D coming at you in the house. We're going to be covering the Nolan Wells case yet again today. We have a beautiful live audience. We have an intelligent, I just grabbed a card, beautiful replay crew. Between our live audience, I appreciate you, and our replay crew, I appreciate you just as much. You guys have been hyping this channel up through the roof for the longest of times, and I just see the growth all the time. Makes us a strong voice for those that don't have a voice anymore, like Nolan Wells, like Summer Wells. Isn't that interesting how we just keep coming back to cases and there's just not really any good answers at this point. Now, you guys, when we look at this, let's get into this a little bit. Let me say hello to a few people. Say it loud for the people in the back, Mama D. Am I talking too loud? I got hot. I did. Put your seatbelts on. That's right. Mama D fired up. So many snakes coming out to support this family. Never makes sense. True crime besties. What family? Be careful how you word it, because well, that could be taken a million ways. And okay, just for the record, we don't get trolls over here on our channel. We get tater tots, just couch potatoes that are square and baked. So for all the tater tots that are going to come on here, just so you know, we're fully trained. We know the whole troll bit. You're not going to guilt us. You're not going to shame us into keeping our mouths shut and not talking about this, because if it is not right, it needs to be talked about. Things that live in the shade continue to repeat. Things that get brought out in the light, we can get an answer to it and we can resolve the issue. I do want to touch on this. I'm not covering this because Jaden's black. I'm not covering this because Jaden isn't white. I'm covering this because he's an 18-year-old boy that went missing, and there is questions by the parents. We do still not know, according to the parents, they don't either, who Jaden was with last. That's a problem. If you don't know who was with your son last, you're going to have questions. It needs to be looked at and it needs to be found out. And the only way you're going to do that is to get their phones. That means everybody that was with Nolan that day, get their damn phones. You feel me? This has nothing to do with black or white for me. Now, the investigation part, perhaps there is some racism going on there. Perhaps they have a reason to be angry that many investigations were not handled properly in the past. I don't know. I haven't researched their county. I haven't researched their cases, so I can't talk to that. So Mama D's going to stick to the facts here when it comes to Nolan's case. And the fact is, we don't know who Nolan was with last. And that should be real damn easy to talk about if everybody's innocent. He was with us. He was with them. So we've got this group of friends, the all white boys, are saying he was with that girl. We left him with some girl talking to some girl. Where? On another boat. Whose boat? Whose boat was that? Let's get there. Okay, the girl's saying, no. We left him. My family came and got me. We left him, and the last we heard is the white boys saying, come get on our boat. The black boys that he was hanging out with in the water are all saying, like, he was down here on the side of the boat at 4-ish, and that was me. That was us saying, give me back my phone. It wasn't even me saying, give me back my phone. I was saying something else. We'll get into all that. I've got it all here for you to show. But the big thing about this all is we've got one kid named Trayston Shepard that seems to have all the damn answers, but the family don't even know this kid. And the few pictures I found of Trayston, he's got the exact same clothes on in every single picture with the same jewelry. And so does Nolan, suggesting that the only pictures I'm able to find of Trayston, there's one encounter between him and Nolan documented that's publicly available at this time that I'm able to find. And so I have to ask you, is it damage control? Because Rolling Stones puts it very clear, and they have legal experts that review every single post they're going to make. And so they make damn sure they use the right words. And they never said that they verified the metadata off that picture. Not that it's not true, not that it's not from another date, but I find it interesting that it's all coming from Trayston. See, he's the one debunking the video where the guy's got the USA shaved in his chest. Something's weird with that. Like, when you hear the story, you'll be like, what now? I'm hearing you now. Because it doesn't say that they verified it themselves. Now we have, because of the way that Rolling Stones worded it, that it was shown to them. Okay, so they were shown some metadata. Why didn't they do their own metadata research on that photograph rather than just looking at some metadata? How do we know that picture goes with that metadata? See what I'm saying? Not that it doesn't, but why didn't Rolling Stone do their own metadata check? Then you got like ABC, NBC, CBS, all the major affiliates coming out saying that they got it from a verified source, that the metadata says this. You think they're referring back to Rolling Stones? I do. That's what I think. So I don't know, you guys. This has just got me a little bit sideways here. So let's talk about the update here. We've got what I believe is damage control. This family, this mother and father, are very involved in Nolan's life. They know Javon. They know all these friends really good. They all talk about him all the time. They know the parents of these friends. They're very good at keeping tabs on what's going on. Now I know that Nolan was away at college. And it is possible this kid knows him from college. However, there's something fishy going on here, in my opinion. What'd you say? Okay, don't come in here making no medical statements like that, or we kick you to the door. We're not here to talk about no pandemic, nothing. Okay? Just keep it about Nolan, or just don't be here. Just saying. Okay, let's get into this a little bit. I want to go over here. And let's see, where do we even want to? I've got so much to show you. So let's start with this guy. All right, this little item here is a photo of Nolan Wells at pool party went viral, is not from July 4th. So update, right? We got the sheriff talking, update. We got the parents saying that kid ain't, they don't even know no Tristan. Okay? They don't know him. They never met him. They didn't know anything about him. They don't know him. All right, so when you look at this, let's get over to the website. Let me see if I've got it pulled up. Yeah. Let's go there. Let's go right to the, okay, Rolling Stones. A photo of Nolan Wells at a pool party went viral. It's not from July 4th. The photo is the latest in a string of misleading images surrounding the disappearance and death of the Mississippi football player. Wells' friend tells Rolling Stone the story behind the photo. Friend? Maybe. Maybe not. So, this past Sunday, a week after Mississippi teen Nolan Wells was found dead following a July 4th boat trip, a photo of the teenager went viral. Social media users circulated a photo of Wells in the middle of a group of people at the pool party that had been posted to Instagram by another young man on July 5th. All right. Just going to throw it out there. Why'd you wait to post it till July 5th if it happened in June? Like, over a week before? I don't think so. But okay, let's see what this says. People who found the photo online assumed it had been taken the night before when Wells went missing. But in reality, the photo was taken Saturday prior on June 27th at 11:58 p.m., according to Rolling Stones. One person posted, quote, one of the friends posted this to Instagram on July 5th before he deactivated his account, which is true. Notice anything? This is proof that Nolan made it off that island alive. They placed his body back on the island after something went down at that house. Okay, so that's what it was. Now here's what's interesting. There's this photo that's of Nolan at a pool party. It isn't released until after he goes missing on July 5th, and then the person deletes their account. And we're supposed to believe that metadata belongs to that photo, yet nobody verified it. They just looked at what the kids gave them and said, oh, okay, thanks for telling us. And they're assuming, Rolling Stones, that this guy is a friend when the family's like, we don't know him. Who is he? We don't know him. Okay. So right here, you can tell that Rolling Stones has not allegedly done their damn research because it says Tristan Shepard, a close friend of Wells, confirmed. See, it's him. It's him. He's their only source. And Tristan's going to be also the source that's going to debunk the viral video, too. See where I'm saying? Damage control, nobody know the boy. He just comes out of nowhere. Happened to a couple pictures where he's like, with his friend, Nolan. Okay. Tristan Shepard, a close friend of the Wells, confirmed that the pool party photograph was taken on Saturday 27th. A separate person provided Rolling Stones with metadata. What did they do? They provided it. Here's the picture. Here's the metadata. See? That's an AAB move. If you don't know what that means, go watch the Jay Slater case. I got a playlist a mile long. We were in that case for over a year. That boy, in my opinion, did not have an accidental death. Why would he walk off a 100-foot cliff in the middle of the day? In the morning. Broad daylight, walks off a 100+ foot cliff. Anyway, a separate person. Who's that separate person? Why can't we know their name? And provided Rolling Stones with metadata, as well as similar group photos taken that night. So here's a bunch more of them and some metadata. You feel me? Yes, Sash, it did. The original picture came out allegedly with the date of July 5th at 2:23 or 2:53 a.m. Snapchat of one of the boys on the boat, but he promptly deleted it. All very fishy. Okay, let's continue. Quote, let's see who's saying this. Shepard. Tristan. So Tristan says, our friend group, see what I'm saying, had been planning to go to this party way before July or June 27th, before it took place. He's in that friend group. Excuse me. Our friend group had been planning to go to this party way before June 27th, before it took place, as Shepard, who didn't end up going because he'd been working all day and had church the next morning. Well, good thing he's a church-going boy, therefore we should believe him. And he was working all day, so he's hard-working, and he's a good God-fearing boy. He ain't gonna lie to you, right? All right there in that damage control little package. But Shepard says he knows Wells and the other friends went to the party and identified them in the photo. Shepard says a friend of his posted the picture as part of a photo dump of recent events, but deleted it once social media rumors around Wells' death began to spread. Same boy that's going to debunk that it was him that's saying, give me back my phone. But he didn't even say that. It says, give me back my phone. He says he wasn't saying that. Mosquito. The pool party is the latest in a string of misleading images swirling around the disappearance and death of 18-year-old Wells. Over the 4th of July weekend, the Wells story became national news after the college football player didn't come home from the trip with his friends to Horn Island, a barrier island off the coast of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, where Wells grew up. Let me swing this over. After days of searching, Wells' body was found on Monday, July 6th, not far from where he had been hanging out with his friends on Independence Day. Let's get into where he says this. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, here it is. The second thing he debunks Isn't that strange? Does he say, where does he say he's best friends? He says, my best friend. I just want to make sure I get that part. Is it gone? Because it was in there last night. Good thing I screenshot it. We'll come back to it, but it was there. If I'm missing it. And I am skipping around, so hold on. Let me just see. I want to make sure I get this. They changed it. I promise you. And look at this. They changed it. I'm going to first see when this was updated because they always have to put the 13th. It was updated last night. And they certainly did change it. But I took a screenshot before they changed it, so they screwed themselves. So, okay. Let's go back over to the website. Right here, he says it's been difficult to grieve the loss of such a close friend while watching false theories go viral. You see that on the website? Okay, you look at that, and then this is where I got it. So I don't know if they changed it or not, but this is what they said before. So here you go. Let's go back to the PowerPoint. This is from People. No wonder. Sorry, my bad. So in People, he gave this interview, and Shepard was quoted as saying, I just know I lost my best friend. You feel me? His best friend. Best friend. I don't know, y'all. Oh, thank you, Carla. In your opinion, that pool pic is very strange. Something is very odd. I agree. Something. Yeah, the whole case is fishy. I agree. All right. Let's dig into this a little bit more. We'll go back over here. Now you know he did refer to him as his best friend, right? We got to hit the different buttons. So anyway, Shepard adds that it has been unbelievable and heartbreaking to see misinformation like the pool party photo spread online. He says it's been difficult to grieve the loss of such a close friend, right? Such a close friend while watching false theories go viral. The pool party is the latest. Okay, we did all that. All right, let's get down here. Another stark example of misinformation around the case was a video that was believed to have been the last known footage of Wells, taken at around 3:30 p.m. on July 4th. That is not the time of that video. That video was well after 4. It says, people believe that it showed him engaged in a heated discussion on the shore of Horn Island, and that he could be heard yelling to another person to give him back his phone. In fact, Shepard, Trayston Shepard, he sure is handy and knows it all. He says that was his voice. So not only does he know all about that pool party and all that, and someone else provided the metadata. They didn't do their own verification. But now everybody's quoting that it's been verified. Okay. Now he's also debunking and saying, no. That isn't Nolan saying, give me back my phone. That's me. Okay? All right. People believe that it showed him engaged in a heated discussion on the shore of Horn Island, and that he could be heard yelling to another person to give him back his phone. In fact, Shepard told Rolling Stone that it was his voice that could be heard on the recording, and that he didn't believe Wells was shown in the footage, that he was just out of the frame, hanging out in the water along the shore. So Wells is right there. Nolan's right there. This is what he claims it says. Those were not Nolan's words. They were mine, Shepard said. Quote, I get that everybody wants justice for Nolan. Everybody wants to know exactly what happened. Wells' mother, Christine Wansley, addressed the misinformation that has surrounded this case, debunking an AI-generated content on her Facebook page and asking people to respect her privacy. The internet is unhinged. To my family and friends, to Nolan's friends, please do not engage or take care of your mental. Okay? So when we really are looking at both incidences, it would appear that Trayston Shepard just removed all suspicion from the case, except he's the one that said, I just know I lost my best friend, right? That's awful weird to me. That is awful weird to me. So he debunked this video. Now, look at this. Here's the one picture I got of them, and there's the other. They're wearing the same exact clothing. Everything the same. Everything, even the jewelry. So, where's some more? There should be more. There should be more. Okay, let's listen to this where the sheriff speaks out. How's everybody doing? Also, the adult in the pool with them, at least two look uncomfortable. I agree with that. That one guy looks
For answers
terrified.
about the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells during a July 4th boat trip with friends, the sheriff is asking for help and pleading for patience.
I think it's important that we don't put ourselves on a timetable and that we don't rush ourselves. But I do think it's important to be diligent in gathering all the facts. That's what the family deserves.
Wells never returned from a remote barrier island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. The very thing that makes Horn Island such an idyllic spot to hang out for the day is what makes the case tricky for investigators. There's nothing here. There are no phones, there are no cameras, there's no police. It's why authorities have asked anyone who was here July 4th with Nolan Wells to come forward.
Even if you may think that it might be insignificant, every little bit helps. And that may be a bigger contribution than you think to this case.
Could be a public tip that breaks it open for you.
Exactly.
A close friend of Wells, Trayston Shepard, says the group spent the day...
And there was the proof that the damage control is working. Because now you even have all these little 5 and dime little news programs coming out saying a close friend of Wells that was with him all day. How close? How close? Okay, that's weird. That's just weird.
Swimming and drinking.
Well, we were just having fun all day, and then as the day went on, people started to drink more, and people started to get more drunk.
We asked the sheriff whether drinking or drugs played a role in Wells's death.
Of course, the rumors are out there, but we don't respond to rumors. We respond to facts.
And as investigators attempt to build a full timeline of the teen's movements and whereabouts that weekend, this photo showing Wells at a pool party has been circulating widely online and has been shared by his family's attorney. ABC News confirming it was taken a week before he visited Horn Island. Authorities initially suspect Wells drowned, although the Wells at a pool party has been circulating widely online and has been shared by his family's attorney. ABC News confirming it was taken a week before.
Confirming with who? I'll betcha the kids that handed over information that is metadata. But did they verify that that picture goes with that metadata? I don't know. That picture bothers me. There's so much wrong with that picture. A lot to me.
He visited Horn Island. Authorities initially suspect Wells drowned, although the results of autopsies by both officials and the one the family ordered are pending. On our visit to the island, we heard from a local boat captain about how the scenic haven could quickly turn treacherous.
Down there at the end of the west end of the island, yeah, there's a current that can, get you really quick.
Okay, hold on. There are boaters everywhere. Everywhere. You can't even take a pee. There are boaters everywhere. And Nolan is not seen after 5 p.m. So why are they telling us about this, all about the sea and how to get in the sea? You know what I'm saying? Like 5 p.m., nobody sees this kid again. So if we're gonna go with their narrative that he drowned, which boat, whose boat was a boy on? He didn't have his own boat. And if you're on a boat with people, don't the people go, hey, we're missing someone? Wouldn't it be before 11 p.m. that you'd be like, somebody fell out of the boat? Or somebody took a swim and I don't see him now? Y'all, I'm getting a headache. This is so worth repeating. There was this person that made a comment, okay? And they were like, you're trying to say that Nolan was at this pool party, and which I never said he was. I was asking when that picture was taken. I said, could it be from a time before? It could have been. Did it look AI? No, I didn't think it looked AI. That's what I said. I said, but let's look at this picture because there's some weird shit going on in it. All right, so we did that. Then this person was like, you're trying to convince me that 20 people saw Nolan at this pool party get hurt or whatever and never said anything? I gotta say, I can top your little statement. Are y'all trying to tell us from Mississippi law enforcement that thousands of people in the middle of the day are at the same exact location as this person, and he is no longer seen? Nolan Wells is not seen after 5 p.m. in the middle of the day. What the hell? Did he teleport out? Did he evaporate? If he drowned and he's in the water, what boat was the boy on? Or are you trying to tell us that he was out swimming amongst the boats and he drowned and nobody even in the day was like, oh, he just dropped under the boat? It was almost as if this Tristan, whatever, is telling us that at the very last footage that we ever get, that he is saying is him saying, give me back my phone, blah, 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 blah. That actually Nolan is down in the water beside the boat. And we never hear or see Tristan. We never hear or nothing after that moment in time of Nolan existing. Did you ever think maybe he's drowning in the middle of everything? Because I don't. So if he's alive and well down there at the exact time that nobody ever sees him again, then that's the starting point, the boat you were on when you're saying, give me back my phone, or whatever you say you're saying. Because that's a problem. This ain't making no sense. I don't care if the boy's black, white, green, purple. This is not making sense. You feel me? If the boy is found dead in the water, how did he get there? How did he get there? He's a good swimmer. Who was he last with? Was he with that girl last? Did y'all go look at that family's boat, the girl's boat? Even though they're cooperating, I'm not saying she's suspicious. I'm saying do your damn job. Get that boat, figure out if there's any DNA on that boat of Nolan. Or also, and go get them other boats. The one where Tristan is saying he's on with Nolan just down below. Get that boat. Check it for DNA. Find out where this boy was last. Nolan had to be somewhere. And with that many people and nobody saw him after 5, something had to have happened before 6 p.m. And yet we have him calling the Coast Guard. Well, if your friend is supposed to be with a girl and you're like, okay, you're going to be hanging with the girl. We'll see you later, bro. Okay. At what point did it just get in your head that all of a sudden he's missing now? And that he's in the water, so you need the Coast Guard. What? That doesn't work. You either said, bye, we'll see you later, have good time with that girl, and you assumed until someone told you that he was missing, or you don't, that didn't happen because you're thinking he's in the water and you're calling Coast Guard. You're not calling necessary local people. That don't work. This is just off. 100%. Agree. What with unspoken? Let me see. Nope. No supervision by adults, rugs, bullying, alcohol use by 18-year-olds, irresponsible parents now crying someone is going to the clinker, in your opinion. I want the truth out. I want to know what happened. Unspoken says Javon said he was the one yelling about the phone, not Nolan. No, it wasn't Javon. No, it wasn't Javon. He never said he yelled about the phone. No. It goes back to the same kid that's saying that the metadata shows that the pool picture is from the 27th of June. He's also now saying, get this, he's just the whole like damage control kid. He should get himself like a little flag on his shirt that says damage control kid, right? Because he's the one, this Trayston's the one saying it was him. And he didn't say, give me back my phone. He said something about, let me off this boat. Not even, give me back my phone. But let me off this boat, because he got in a fight with his girlfriend, and then some stranger butted in, and so he was all pissed at the stranger, and then his friends on shore were starting to take up for him, and so he was on the boat, and his uncle was like, come on, Trayston, get on the boat, we gotta leave, we don't need a big scene here, and so they was holding Trayston back, because he was like wanting to get off that boat and go kick some booty. So he was like, let me off that boat. But what we're hearing is, give me back my freaking phone. I don't know. You make sense of that. But how is Trayston coming to the rescue as Nolan's best friend when the parents don't even know the boy? Now, we're going to get into the timeline that he just opened up because he accidentally slipped if we're looking at the fact that he just put himself right next to Nolan and at a little after 4 p.m. when none of them boys were supposed to be with him after 3. They all saw him last at 3. But he just said, while I was having a problem on the boat, and I'm saying, let me off this freaking boat, Nolan is out of frame in the water right beside the boat, which is at around 4-ish. Feel me? That's after 3. Okay? Y'all you getting where I'm coming from? Hold the boats. That's what I'm saying. Right. Old photo. Maybe. Parents said they did not know this friend. Exactly. Okay, let's keep going. Right here. We've got this dude. Only pictures I'm seeing. He's got same hat, same shirt, same necklace, same jacket on Nolan. Everything's the same. Absolutely everything is the same. So obviously this is one event. Doesn't make a lifetime of friendship. But hey, they're going to buy whatever they want. Okay, let's see. Did we do this one? Okay, let's see.
Now to the latest on the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. For the first time since Wells' body was found, we're hearing from a friend of the 18-year-old who was with him on the day that he died. Trayston Shepard, who says that he was with Wells on the 4th of July, but declined to speak on camera because...
Oh, pulling a Lucy. Pulling Lucy. I don't want my face on camera. Why? Are you worried that the family is going to be like, who the hell is this boy? Because then not, are you worried about his real friends going, who the hell are you? You don't want your face on. Okay.
The threats that he says he's been receiving.
Yeah.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
What? What? Look at the words. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. You saw him die, but you didn't want to? Okay, I'm gonna try to be like, well, maybe that's how this boy talks, you know. We didn't want to see him die, but he did. Okay, we'll give him that. But hold on. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short. His life was taken. He didn't lose his life. You know, if it's an accident, they lose their life. An accident happens. But taken implies removing, right? Like somebody did something. And he uses the word, nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short. The wording is weird. His friends, his group of pool friends. He's part of the group of the pool friends. He's already told us in the Rolling Stone interview that when he says we, he's talking about his pool friends over at Evans. Remember Evans' place? So for all of you little tater tots that came on and got all in my face and said, that's an AI video, that's an AI photo of the pool, right? You're wrong. It's a real photo. It just happens to be from allegedly a little over a week before. But what is this? We care and love Nolan, but nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short. Read between the lines. It makes it sound like Nolan, I'm just gonna be real. It made it sound, because of his word choosing, and words are important. It makes it sound like something happened to Nolan and he was about to die and nobody wanted to see it. So they deposited him out of view in the water or something. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying the worst choice of words.
All right, Kajachi, and also legal analyst and attorney Brian Buckmeyer join me now for more. So, Ike, what more are we learning about why Wells stayed behind and didn't go back to the mainland with his friends?
Yeah, Kira, this has really been at the center of everything. This question, why did Nolan Wells stay behind when everyone else decided to actually leave the island? Well, now we're hearing from someone who was there that day. His childhood friend, Trayston Shepard, said that
whoa. And the media is like, let's just keep pushing this shit down people's throat. And now this is his childhood friend. And the parents still have never seen this boy up until now. They didn't even know the boy's name. Somebody help me. You feel me? The narrative is being spun. The damage control is happening in front of your face. Because this boy, if he was a childhood friend, you'd think the family would know of this character. But it's almost as if there's a cover up here and they've inserted this person that happens to be black, I'm just going there, to cool it all down and say that, yeah, that was my best friend, my close childhood friend. And the parents are like, you ever seen that boy in your life, hon? No. Mama said no. I ain't never seen that boy with our son, and I never heard his name before. I didn't even know who he was. My gut is burning with it. That's right. Reasonable doubt. Probable cause. There you go. C. Hay says this all sounds like someone is trying to create reasonable doubt in the jury's eyes and that they put in all the African Americans on camera. Yeah, this is weird. I don't know how to say your name, so I'm going to call you Key. Hello, lovely Key. That pool photo been proven to be a pool in Pass Christian, not Ocean Springs. They geolocated the location to a place there, and you can see the pool and the feature that is on the left. Well, email me that to rubberducky2005@yahoo.com so I can check it out myself. I'd like to see what you're saying. As Sunshine says, makes sense in W. Nolan wants his phone. It was at his friend's house when his mom gets it. Why? Someone needs to be questioned why they had it. Mom got different. Okay, Mom got different locations. They were busy moving Nolan West's body to water, in your opinion. Thank you. Sash says one of the boys allegedly dropped a clinker and said something about Nolan in the past tense before Nolan was even found. Yeah, he said he was his best man, his best boy. He was. And Nolan hadn't even been found. And it wasn't like it was a month before the boy was found where you would assume he died. It was still like right away, because Nolan was found in less than 48 hours, I believe. So Nolan could have been at that girl's house, because they hadn't even tracked her down as far as I know at that point. Did you hear the audio on Nicole Speaks with Cheryl's World? Give Av Girl story matches with Alex Strait. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I want to know what was on the phone. Sounds like something important on it, in my opinion. I'm wondering if there was like data or photographs showing Nolan with who he was with last. That's my thought. Carla says, in my opinion, his body was never moved to the water. Allegedly. Well, thank you, Carla. You think they just threw him off the boat? Or do you just don't believe foul play? As Sunshine says, I must be a nosy mama 4 because I knew 99% of all 4 of my kids' true friends and met their acquaintances at least once. But I was a teacher, so I knew the kids in the community. Well, thank you for being a teacher. Unspoken Heart Stillness says maybe parents know more and are lying themselves. Okay. When you say parents, you need to say NW's parents or friends' parents, because I don't know what you mean. I don't know who you're talking about. It's all in the wording for sure. What's with the spin if nothing to hide? Boom! RKB! What is with the spin if there's nothing to hide? That's right. Katie and Trayston shit is spooky. Both of them are weird. All right.
Came on, experienced an electrical issue, and they had to go back to shore because of that. And he says Nolan told the group he wanted to stay behind because he met a girl and planned to catch a ride back on another friend's boat. Now, Shepard described this trip as one last hurrah before everyone scattered back to school and work after this holiday. There were about 300 people on that island that day. A lot of them were high school classmates. They knew each other, and they wanted to spend this time as just one big party before everyone dispersed wherever they needed to go. But according to his friend, Trayston Shepard said that this wasn't anything sinister at all. It was an 18-year-old who wanted to have fun, but Kira, as we know, that 18-year-old...
Trayston says there was nothing sinister at all. I thought you didn't know what happened. I thought you didn't see the boy after Nolan was at the edge of the boat. That was the last time you saw him. So where'd you get all this knowledge that something did or did not happen? How do you know? You feel me? That's too much. That's a little too much. You went too far, Lucy. You overdid it. You have no, you got no dang clue. What happened to Nolan Wells? So how could you say that nothing nefarious happened if you don't know? Or do you? Do you? Is that why you're using language like no one wanted to see Nolan die? You feel me?
Nolan Wells never made it back to shore.
Well, and Brian, Trayston also addressed the viral video. Investigators, I've been looking into, saying he's actually the one yelling, not Wells. How crucial is that?
Kira, I think it's very crucial in the sense of now we know who's yelling, why they were yelling, and according to Trayston, it had nothing.
Hold on. Hold on. According to Tristan, Marsha, Tristan, you are our freaking hero. You have totally taken the Nolan Wells case and you have debunked absolutely everything by your mere word. Except you saying that that's your dearly beloved childhood best friend, and the parents don't know who the hell you are, so you're freaking lying. And if you lie about one thing, I'm wondering, how verified is it that it's him saying, get me off this boat, if he is part of the group of people that are highly suspicious because they can't get their timeline straight with when or where or who was with Nolan Wells before he disappeared. You feel me? Katie is from Moss Point. Boat was right next to Nolan boat. Nolan doesn't have a boat. Y'all, Javon and Tristan were further down according to Ava. Nolan doesn't own a boat. He ain't out there on his own boat. Whose boat? Nolan don't have a boat. See where I'm problem? That's problem. No offense, I am. But Katie is from Moss Point. Cool. I don't even care. Boat was right next to Nolan's boat. Whose boat? Nolan don't have a boat. Javon and Tristan were further down according to Ava. So the problem doesn't resolve. If Nolan is in the water by all these people, then their timeline is shit. Because that video's metadata says like 4:04 p.m. and these people went on record, all of these white friends, saying they didn't see Nolan after 3 o'clock. That was it. Cut off. Didn't see the boy. Can't help you. And nobody out of thousands of people on that island, thousands of people on the water in their boats, hundreds of boats, ever saw Nolan after 5? Why? How's that even possible? I just don't buy it.
Nothing to do with what Nolan Wells was doing. Instead, giving us a description that a stranger was kind of getting in his face and he was yelling at him. This closed down one avenue of investigation. And while that might be heartbreaking that it doesn't give us an...
Okay, hold on. How is a stranger... You're on a boat, like this Tristan's on a boat. Nolan's in the water right here. How is a stranger getting in your face? A stranger getting in your face. Anybody want to tell me how a stranger is getting in your face if you're on your own uncle's boat? I mean, this is my face. My face is in this room. I mean, you're not in my face past 5 feet. But if somebody's in my face and I'm on my own damn boat, how they be a stranger? See where this is bullshit. This is all bullshit. In my opinion, exactly what you're saying, Ian. I got you. You meant the boat he was on. Thank you. C. Hay says, what I don't understand is how come the parents who went with them, I saw silence, everything just doesn't look right. Proximity, okay. Katie boat and Nolan friend boat were adjacent, so how could he disappear? I agree with you. Midnight intuition in the pool showed 2 adults and 1 little guy scared of being held by a big guy. Check the pool picture. I know, I showed that yesterday. I can show it again when we get there. Well, I'll just grab it real quick. You guys want to see the boy terrified? Okay, let me get that. Okay, let's go over here. So this is where we tore that pool picture up. Now they're saying it's from the week before because they saw metadata that was given to them. Well, it was shown to them. They didn't get to keep it. It was only shown to them. Did you get a good look? Okay. All right, look at this. See this dude down here, this little dude? Look at this poor little feller. Why? Let's get all this off here. What's going on with this little boy's face? And why is this guy like bear hugging him? Like this guy's like, something bad about to happen to me. I'm terrified. I don't know. It just looks weird. Has the cause of death been told? No, ma'am. No, sir. Rip and Ripper? Nope. Not yet. We're waiting. Pebbles another couple, have come forward to say Nolan Wells asked them for a ride, but they were at capacity. That was between 4:30 and 4:45, and it was a white couple. Okay. I don't care what color they are, but there would have been other boaters, and there would have been people with phones, right? Nikki says Indigo Shepherd photo is next to Nolan and pic next to Mama. What now? I didn't even follow all that. Okay, let's get back up here. That's what you were talking about, is that picture of that scared boy and that, yeah. It looks freaky. Okay. Let's hear what Mama has to say about this Tristan.
I would like to ask Elmore, you have spoken about conversations that you had with Nolan about staying with a group, always keeping in contact. Can you open up?
This is about the phone. Let me go back and get the one. Where's the one? Are you kidding? Where is it? I do this every time. I lose my. Is this the one?
One of the things that has really just confounded.
Okay, this is the one. Let me move it up so I don't lose it. I'm going to put it right up here. Here we go. Listen to this. This is an interview with Mom and Pa of Nolan.
One of the things that has really just confounded so many people is, again, this question of a cell phone being separated from a young person and other people possessing that cell phone, but not knowing where the young person is. Do we have any more insight into who passed the phone to who? What's the explanation for how the cell phone ended up in someone else's hands? Elmore or Christine, do you know?
So it's unclear, like I said, and Elmore has said, I just cannot fathom Nolan leaving his phone. Even his best friends are like, no, if Nolan was gonna stay anywhere, if theoretically, because we know that's not Nolan's character. But theoretically speaking, if he were to, then what he would say is, hey man, give me my phone, let me grab my phone, or something. He would take his phone. So to sit there and say that, oh, he just left his phone, like that's hard for me to believe.
Get ready, it's coming.
I don't see any teenager without their phone. I mean, I have to keep my phone on me, at all times. So I just, no. But as far as like the retrieval, when the boys called, I was tracking, I was like, he's on land. Like, what do you mean? And they're like, no, his phone is not with him. And so my friend Tashima, she went to go pick the phone up because we were trying to figure out who do we call to file this report with. As I'm being told by his friends, like, oh, don't worry, like, we're gonna find him, it's gonna be okay. Absolutely not. Don't ever tell a parent that. Don't ever tell a parent, like, you call me and tell me my child is missing, and then it's, oh well, it's gonna be okay, like, we're gonna find him. And this is how we found our child. So
one of the things that
hold on. Right there, it lets you know that Nolan's just like everybody else. He wasn't going to be leaving his phone behind. The family know it. Now, hopefully this is the other one that I wanted to
One
share.
of the things that has...
No, that's not it. I've done it again.
I would like to ask Elmore, you have spoken about conversations that you had with Nolan about staying with a group, always keeping in contact. Can you open up a little bit more about that father-son coaching that often happens with dads and boys about how to move about in this world? Because I think
Okay, hold on. Before we get into how Nolan, the family said he wouldn't have stayed on his own to talk to no girl, not by himself like that. Somebody in the comments made a good point. In their opinion, they were stating why, and it was several of you. So I wanted to address this because you're wrong. So the person was saying there is no way that the people are going to keep Nolan's phone and delete stuff if they're guilty and then hand the phone back over. And that is false, I believe. I believe that's a false statement. I believe that they do that. I believe people absolutely do that. And it's not like in the Jay Slater case. His phone had deleted messages, and his phone got found with the body. Why didn't they just get rid of the phone? I don't know the answer, but they didn't. So if they took the phone and they deleted some shit, maybe they were just counting on the phone not being that important. I mean, these are young ones that got a lot of money. They got family that's got high places in the courts. They maybe aren't worried about a lot of shit. I don't know. I do find it strange that people do that, though. Criminals will delete messages and then put the phone back with the victim. I've never even understood that. Like even in the Delphi case with Libby and Abby, Libby German and Abigail Williams, their bodies. Anyway, the phone was still there. That had the recording of some guy walking across a bridge. Why didn't the perps take her phone? I don't know. I'm not a criminal mind enough to think about it, but so I don't think that rules out any foul play just because the phone was handed over.
Really powerful.
It was not volunteered. It was tracked to a location and demanded that the phone be turned in.
I think I can really thank my mother for that, because I grew up with a lot of cousins, and I was the smallest of the bunch, so I had to kind of defend myself against them a lot. But one thing that always stood out with us, with my family, was if we come together, we stay together. If one cousin fight, everyone fights. And
Okay, hold on. Here it is. Here's a good one. So, Karma says, we are avid boaters, meaning boaters, and we definitely leave our phones on the boat if we're going for a swim or go on someone else's boat if we're tied up to each other. They're not tied up to each other, and they're going on land. They're going up to a dock, and they're going on land. There's no way. If you're not going to be going back to the boat, you definitely gonna take your phone. Your phone's not disposable. It has your identification information, your banking, all kinds of private info. So you ain't gonna be leaving it behind. You're gonna take it with you because you're not going swimming. You're going up on the dock unless you're in the water swimming and something happens. Then it would make sense if the boat had his phone on it. But if we're to go with the story that they are telling us, that Nolan was staying behind on land, he ain't going to be like, bye guys, you can keep my phone because there's 12 feet of water between us. So go ahead, keep my phone. I don't care. I'll be here by myself. I won't have any way to call anybody or communicate. But you know what? That girl's so pretty. I don't even care. No. The only way that Nolan would have left his phone on that boat, in my humble opinion, is if he planned to go back to that boat. Or if he took a dive in the water for a minute. But that's not what happened, according to everybody at the, creating the narrative. So, but yeah. But thank you for sharing that. But I'm just saying that wasn't the case. Another case of injustice, you feel? Yeah. Okay, there's a possibility. Then they need to be honest about it if that's true. Karma says, in my opinion, I feel as if they did a little too much partying, and unfortunately, he, did too much. And they don't want people to know that because one of the kids' mom is a judge, could be. Could stepmom Judge be giving tips on scrubbing the boat when they got back to the house? In my opinion, I'm glued to my phone. My 80-year-old parents are glued to theirs. I would bet an 18-year-old, 20-year-old, 18 to 20-year-old are glued also. I agree. Sorry, this boy didn't take drugs. He was getting ready for his football. Maybe if anything, they might have him drugs in his drink. So here's the thing. Nolan didn't have the normal party life that everybody else did because he is like the star football player, and he'd be P-tested before every game, like not random, like you're gonna be. And you can tell he takes good care of his body, and so for him to be an avid drug user doesn't work. It don't work. So it'll be interesting to see the toxicology come back, because if it does come back dirty, if that tox comes back dirty, then the very first thought I'm going to have, and I bet you all his family and friends are going to have after they've expressed that they know Nolan really good and he don't do any of that shit, is that, yeah, somebody may have given him something in his drink. Maybe they wanted to sabotage him when he was going back to school. Think about this for a minute. What if they didn't plan on hurting Nolan at all? Like they didn't want to see Nolan die. Okay? What if, just hear me in my theory for a minute. What if we're on to something? We'll find out when that toxicology comes back, right? And the autopsy and the tox from the private one. All right, but hear me out on this. Nolan was doing one last hurrah because he was about to get P-tested before he went into some heavy duty footballing. And this was like some sort of a big deal with what was coming next, according to his family and the lawyer, like a big, big deal. What if someone spiked his drink with rugs, and I say rugs because YouTube doesn't like us to use the word drugs, and sometimes we get like knocked for it. So what if somebody spiked Nolan's drink not to kill him? What if they put like a RAPE drug or something like that in it so that he would fail the test? However, because his body wasn't used to anything like that, it caused him to not be okay, just like she's saying. And they were like, oh, shit, we've killed the boy, or at least he's gonna be dead. Let's just roll him because none of us want to see Nolan die. Now we all screwed. Let's just, I'm gonna blame you. Okay, well then I'm gonna blame you. Okay, feel me? Something there? Yeah, someone rugged him, possible. Yeah, like a Kylie Rodney. This reminds me a lot of Kylie Rodney and Jay Slater. The star athlete and the drugs and alcohol, especially at that age. What Mama said, great minds think alike. There you go, GBH. Boom. Karma says we've seen something like this with the Kylie Rodney case. Girl, you and I go way back, don't we? Yeah. That's right, Mama. He would have kept his lifeline phone with him. That's how I feel too. So let's continue.
I preach that same thing to my kids. If you go somewhere with someone, you come back with them, no matter what. Don't let a girl separate you from your safety net. It's plenty of girls. You see one here, you see one there. So for them to come back and that'd be the first thing that come out their mouth, like he decided to stay on the island and we left. That when they said that, automatically just it turned me off, but it turned on a question like, I know he wouldn't do that. I preach that to him every day. He would not do that. So you telling me that you're lying to me just off the rip, you're lying to me. I can't believe that. And I won't believe that.
I saw that today for the first time, because really a lot of folks who were there have been silent. We saw, people taking down their Facebook. It was almost an instant reaction that people went into to protect themselves. but Trayston Shepard described himself as Nolan's best friend. He gave an interview saying that he was the one who was yelling in one of the viral videos that people had been questioning, and said that it wasn't Nolan in the video, that it was him, and that Nolan met a girl that day that he really liked, even though he'd never, interacted with this girl before. Her name was Katie. Have you spoken to Trayston since Nolan's passing, and how are you responding to his account of what happened?
So first of all, we don't know Tristan. We've never met him. So to say, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch.
You think? You think? The mother says we don't know him, we never met him. To say childhood friend, to say best friend is a bit of a stretch. Yeah, we got every freaking multimedia faceted place out here going, well, we know that video of the boat where it said, give me back my phone, was not Nolan. It was Trayston, a long-term, close best friend. We know that the pool party didn't happen that way because these bunch of kids, I believe they were a Scooby-Doo bunch, showed up to our news program here at Rolling Stones, and they showed us a bunch of metadata, and we were like, okay, sounds good. Oh, you're the best friend. All right, we'll roll with that. And now we got NBC, ABC, CBS, everybody, Fox News, CNN, breaking news. Trayston Shepard was Nolan Wells' best, closest friend on this planet. And what he says, we do not question. We just take it all in. And now we have the complete case solved, because I just want to tell you, we have to have damage control. You feel me? Let's listen to that little bit about Mama saying all that. Let's listen to this whole thing a little bit.
Described himself as Nolan's best friend. He gave an interview saying that he was the one who was yelling in one of the viral videos that people had been questioning, and said that it wasn't Nolan in the video, that it was him, and that Nolan met a girl that day that he really liked, even though he'd never, interacted with this girl before. Her name was Katie. Have you spoken to Trayston since Nolan's passing, and how are you responding to his account of what happened?
So first of all, we don't know Tristan. We've never met him. So to say, best friend, childhood friend, that's a bit of a stretch. We've never met him. He's never been to our home. Now, if you were to say that about Jalen or Javon, I would say absolutely. You could say that those are childhood friends, those are best friends, because they've been to our home. We know their family. We're close to, their mother. But this young man, I maybe high school, they started hanging out, or.
Hey, hold on. There is not one way on this planet that you can comfortably tell us or anybody else if these are good kids or bad kids. You don't know, because you don't know these people. You don't know if they loved each other. You don't know if there was some hateful shit going on in the background over a girl. You have no freaking clue. So stop saying that. You can put in your opinion, you believe it, but you can't just come out here and say, as if it's fact, that these are good kids that wouldn't do anything wrong. That's a line of shit, because you have no freaking clue. There are people every day that get on the news. Every single day of my life, there's some neighbor standing there being interviewed saying, I don't know why he did what he did. He was just a good neighbor. He was always a good man. Everybody loved him. He gave cookies to everybody. And he even played Santa Claus at Christmas. And he was wonderful. I had no idea he had 20 children locked in his basement. You feel me? You don't know someone. You don't know them. And even when you know them, you probably don't know them. So don't come out and try to be like, I'm going to paint these kids in good light and shit when you don't even know all their names. How do you know? You don't know if they all loved each other. We done been through too many cases. I mean, Jay Slater, he didn't have friends there on that island. No. He had dodgy friends, right? He had dodgy people. We found that out as to how they handled it. Let me just ask you a real quick question in case you weren't in that case. If someone in your life sent you the GPS exact place that they are standing on the planet and told you that their leg was cut and they thought they were going to die, would you A, go to that location with help, or B, wait for a day and a half or a day and just file a missing persons report? Because where could they be? Okay, so in that case, Jay Slater's case, you can feel my frustration still to this day. Okay, now we're talking about not a 19-year-old white boy, which was Jay Slater. We're talking about an 18-year-old black boy. And in this, we're talking about the deep, dark South. And I say that because y'all know it's true. There are racism thick in places. There are. I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm not racist. I don't care what color your skin is. I love you all. But don't come in here and try to convince me and others unless you know these people. And like there was somebody that literally said, nothing bad happened to Nolan that was nefarious. And I'm like, were you there? Do you got something you want to share with the rest of us that you know something we don't? Because how do you know that shit? You don't. So stop coming in and trying to make the halos appear over these children. We've been through the Kylie Rodney case. We've been through the Brian Laundrie case. We've been through the Jay Slater case. We know that what appears to be friends, as time goes on, you start seeing it. And I'm telling you right now, this family don't even know who the hell Trayston is. So how is he the childhood friend? Okay? This case pisses me off. He was very, okay, Karma. Why are you all up in our stuff? You don't know if it's a race issue. You have no freaking clue if it's a race issue until the case is solved. You have no idea if the investigation is being handled in a racist way. You have no clue. This is not a racist issue. You have no clue. Y'all kick her out. I don't even want her here. If you can't learn to say, in my opinion, or you can't, leave your mind open enough to think about it, but you want to come in here and talk all these friends up and run your mouth through chat over and over and over again because you're spamming us with how wonderful these people are. And what if it was an accident? He OD'd, putting all this blame on Nolan when he don't do drugs. Okay? Just get out the door. Or keep yourself open until we know what happened. Sure, speculate in your opinion. Sure, say, I think, I feel, it might be. But don't come in here and say it's not. Because you damn sure don't know. Okay, thank you for getting her out of here. Because I've been watching her through this entire chat. And all she's doing is exactly what I named this video. Damage control. And we can spot them little tater tots not too long. They say the same thing over and over again, and they spam the chat. I got braids in today to hold my head down because I'm a hothead. I'm going to lose it. Sister, how are you? Okay, that's why I prefaced with, I just got here, thanks. If you just got here, you're not doing what that person's doing. Did the guys know Katie and someone got jealous of contact with Nolan? Excellent question. Thank you, Midnight Intuition. But yeah, people got to quit saying they know something when they don't. And man, on the comments last night, I think the 5 or 7 trolls thought that they were going to intimidate Mama D. And I'm like, the hell with you. I've been through the Luckies and I've been dealing with the Pillsbury Doughboy Chris's forever. You can't even shake me. I can still do my whole impression of Chris. He wasn't even sweating, okay? And he is like, no, I'm not even going to go there. I'm just saying, you ain't going to touch this. You ain't going to rattle me. You ain't going to shake me. I'll kick you to the door. Because I know with high profile cases, when it's a cover up, you get damage control. And so you get all these little people coming in that have never visited your chat that just emanate the narrative. They're like, this is exactly the narrative. This is what happened. And there's no way about it but this way. And no, the rest of us don't know what happened. I have no idea. I don't have a clue. Was it an accident? Was it foul play? Let's investigate and find out. Okay, I'm calming down. I'm calming down.
Kind of
That
been
just
around
ticked me
each
off.
other, but again, we don't know him. And not to discount anything he has said, which of course, still trying to rule those things out. But I mean, he has communicated. He did offer his condolences, which we appreciate. And he did let me know about that tidbit, which of course, like I've been telling everyone, if you have any information, forward that over to the local authorities. Make sure also forward that over to our legal team as well, just to make sure that we're looking at everything.
Okay, did Trayston tell the police that that was him on the boat? And that no one was right there and it was after 4? Did he? Okay, so y'all think I'm hot? Well, I just have been gaining the biggest respect for this guy who just shares his thought. His name, and I shared his channel the other day. He's got 130,000 subs. 130,000. 130,000. That's amazing. Big G Kish. Okay, Big G Kish. I like his name. I like his channel. But he did a little rant here, and then he showed some stuff that had me going, whoa, this is where there's a timeline problem. Now, before I show Big G Kish, listen. So he's got a guy on there that has caught the time issue. So when Trayston verifies that that is him on the boat, and that this in this video, right? And that Nolan is right down in the water below the boat, according to Tristan, who never lies, right? Okay. What he did is he time stamped because that video had metadata, and that's after 4 p.m., which now contradicts the 3 p.m. that they all saw him last. It's almost as if you tell a lie, it opens up a can of worms, and you got to keep telling lies to cover up the bigger one, and then you got to cover up that, and it's a big old cover up. If you just tell them the truth, it'd click in like clockwork, and you wouldn't have to think about it. But see, the more you talk, even if you're just doing damage control, the more you are going to open mouth, insert foot, and yeah, shit's going to unravel because timeline's busted. Timeline got busted when he did that. But listen what Big G Kish has to share. This is absolutely brilliant. Go give him some love. I have to say, I don't know the man. I don't know his channel. But I started watching him the last couple days because of Nolan. And I love the way he starts this out.
They try to get us to shut up, talking about, look, all of Nolan's friends loved him and they would never do anything. Could you?
Okay. He actually reminds me of me because he's doing the whole, like his impression of the white guy, right? And he's like, "This of Nolan's friends." And it's an imitation of, and it's so true. Listen, but he does. He reminds me of myself. Listen to what he says. Okay, I'm gonna rewind it. There you go.
Get us to shut up, talking about, look, all of Nolan's friends loved him and they would never do anything. Could you please just let us grieve over Nolan? Where's the RIP shirts? Where's the long live Nolan comment? If everybody loved him so much, it wouldn't let nothing happen to Nolan. They try to get us to shut up.
Right? But instead, they loved him so much, they didn't even go looking for him. They were like, let's go to breakfast. I got a hangover from hell. Okay, here's Mama.
We're doing this because we want answers.
Christine Wells Wansley and Elmore Wansley say their son Nolan went out for a fun boat trip to Horn Island with a bunch of his high school friends. Late on July 4th, his mom says her heart dropped when she saw one of Nolan's friends calling. What did he say?
He said, "Hey, Miss Christine, have you seen Nolan or talked to Nolan?" I said, "No, I thought he was with you guys, you know." He's like, "No, nobody's talked to him. We left the island at, I think he said 3 p.m. And
we left at 3 p.m. But your friend, Mr. Tristan Shepard, just blew your story of 3 p.m. that you told the mama. No, we didn't see Nolan because we weren't even there after 3. We left. And then you got the guy that's hanging out with all them guys saying, Nolan be right here. And that video's after 4. Mm-hmm. See,
he wanted to stay because he was talking to a girl.
That friend's mother, a local judge, posted on Facebook that Nolan told the boys he was going to stay on the island. But the family's attorney, Ben Crump, says another teenager said Nolan was going back with his friends. It's unclear who Nolan was with when he disappeared. Do you think there's a possibility that your son drowned accidentally?
Honestly, because of the way the stories are just so inconsistent and how that day went, it's just, you know, we can't say for sure. And I don't know how to answer that.
Monday, the college athlete's body was recovered in the water. The location of Nolan's phone now fueling the family's questions. His mother tracked it to a friend's home back on land.
Teenagers love their phones, and 2, that's his means of communication. If something happens, you need your phone.
There are hundreds of people on that island. Nobody sees what happened to him.
Thank you.
And he stays behind, and
there are hundreds of people on that island, and nobody sees what happened to him. That was my point. That was my point, too.
Doesn't ask for his phone.
We asked about this video from the 4th, which many on social media suggest shows an argument involving Nolan. Do you hear your son in that video?
I can't say yay or nay to that.
Do you see him in the video?
I do not, just because of the way it's shot.
The family's high-profile attorney has repeatedly invoked race. Do you think that race may be involved in what happened to your son?
I don't want to believe it is, but unfortunately, there's patterns, right?
It's so many things have happened, and so many things have been swept under the rug.
They say they want their son to be remembered as a sweet soul.
He just had a big heart. Like, to really know Nolan, to have him as your friend it was something special.
Do you worry that he might have trusted too much?
Sometimes, yeah. And that was something we always talked to him about.
Oh, bless her heart. Good Lord. Okay. So, Attorney Ben Crump alleges 18-year-old was involved in an argument. According to Atlanta Black Star, Benjamin Crump, the attorney for Nolan Xavier Wells' family, sat down with Don Lemon. This to speak about the case. During the interview, Crump noted that Wells were gearing up for an important tryout set to take place on Monday, July 6th. There's no way. It's a tryout. It's Monday, July 6th. There's no way on God's green earth that Nolan would be intentionally partaking in illegal substances when he's got a P-test and a tryout that was extremely important to him and his career in less than 48 hours away. There's just no way. Goes on to say, furthermore, Crump noted that the family is concluding their own independent autopsy, and he believes the results will be made available on Friday, July 10th. They're saying it was an uncomfortable accident. How do they know until the toxicology results come back to see what was in his system? They don't. Oh, it's It's killing me. They're not telling the family anything about whether it's foul play or not. So that's why the family is so desperate for answers, Crump explains to Lemon. Now listen to this. Listen to this.
Sunday, another friend of Wells, Trayson Shepard, would for the first time speak about the day in which he would reveal that he was actually the person in the viral video at Horn Island heard yelling.
Okay. We are not attacking anyone, Helium, and you are almost identical to the last tater tot. And if you're going to come in here and try to guilt us and say we're attacking Trayston when we're just not buying his shit story, then you're not supposed to be on our channel. Don't come in here and flood it. Kick her to the door. I don't care. I don't want to hear this shit. I don't want to hear that we're attacking people when we're not. I told you, we speculate. I started the channel with we speculate. We ask questions. We're not going to be quiet. And I'm not going to go through your little damage control shit to feel guilty for asking damn questions. So get the hell off my channel. I'm serious. This is that we're not going to have tater tots running chat. It's not going to happen. So guys, kick her. And I'm talking permanent, like ban it. Done with that. Because she just went and made another name and came right back in. Did you see that one? It's probably the judge.
In a new interview with Rolling Stone, Shepard would go on to admit that he wanted to fight someone after they would comment on he and his girlfriend arguing. I told him he needed to mind his own business. From the Rolling Stone article, it reads, Shepard says the exchange became heated and that he and the other man ended up getting into a physical altercation. Shepard's uncle, who had raised him like a father, told Shepard to get out of the water and onto his boat so they could head back home. Shepard complied, but once he got on the boat, he changed his mind and decided he wanted to go back. Shepard's friends had by that point begun defending him on shore. Around this time, another adult on a nearby boat started filming the video. My exact wording is, "Get me off this effing boat. I wanted to fight, and I feel like I hadn't had my fair share." Now, what makes Shepard's new admission interesting is that it looks to have exposed lies and inconsistencies with Nolan's friends, whom he traveled to the island with, saying that they last saw Nolan at 3 p.m. that day.
Keep in mind that he's saying also that Nolan is his best childhood friend ever, and he's grieving the loss of his best friend, his childhood friend, and that family don't even know who that guy is.
You can recall the video that captured.
Boom! What time is it? What time is this video taken? It was taken on July 4th, 2026. Not at 3 p.m., but at 4 p.m. Are you following? 4 p.m. This guy is saying it's him on the video and that Nolan is just in the water right below him by the boat at 4 p.m. Not 3 p.m., 4 p.m. And remember, he's with the group of friends,
The
right?
aftermath of Shepard's confrontation would end up being captured at 4:01 p.m.
4:01.
And in this interview with Rolling Stone, Shepard would confirm that Nolan was actually in the water out of view on camera at that time.
Yep.
As well as noted in this new interview that he was around Nolan and friends at 3:30 p.m. Meaning Nolan was still very much near everyone else, despite his friends reporting to police that they last saw him at 3 p.m. Now, from this Rolling Stone interview, Shepard's admission goes on to reveal, Shepard says the man in the video, who people think is Wells, is too short to be his 6'2" friend.
Could be.
He says Wells is not shown in the video at all, that he was just out of frame, hanging out in the water. Now, according to official reports and a statement made by one of the young man's stepmother, who happens to also be a judge, Ashley Cole, would state her stepson and friends would leave the island around 4:30 p.m. due to issues with their boat. In her statement, she would say, Warren was interviewed by the Jackson County Sheriff's Department and cooperated fully. He saw Nolan last at around 3 p.m. on July 4th. They left around 4:30 p.m. when the boat was taken on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends.
So now the mother blew her own kids' story out of the water because they all told the police they didn't see Nolan after 3. But now the mother of one of those people, who happens to be a judge, is saying, oh, it was 4:30, and they tried their best to make him come with them, and Nolan wasn't having it, and that was 4:30. So if Nolan is at 4:01 right here, now we're going to go 4:30 according to mother before the boat starts taking on water. And so it's getting later and later. But again, hundreds of people, and nobody sees Nolan after 5 p.m.
What's interesting about this statement is that a leaked direct message from Warren's biological mother several days before to a Facebook user looks to contradict this statement by his stepmother. To note, Warren's biological mom's message would take place before Nolan's body was found, in which it was only thought he was only a missing person, making it appear for some that this new changing of times and separating them to last seeing Nolan at 3 p.m. is part of a cover-up. Warren's actual mother would go on to write, "I am Warren's mother, the woman you have been talking about on Facebook and posting pictures of our family. I'm here to tell you that we all love Nolan and we are deeply distraught. Your information is not correct, and I ask you to please stop posting about Warren and our family. My son did not ride out with him, nor did he come back with them. The boat that Nolan was supposed to get on, Wyatt's boat. He repeatedly asked Nolan to get on the boat at 5 when it was time to leave, but Nolan wanted to stay with the girl, and their boat was parked next to his.
And in time from another parent, it's gone from 3 to 3:30 to 4:30 to now 5. It depends on who you ask. But the problem is, if this was the truth, everybody pretty much be about a minute or two apart because we all got phones and watches, then nobody has the timeline right. Nobody has it. Now, there's one I had not heard. Somebody saying Nolan was killed in their opinion, and then dumped, and they did that because of the 250th anniversary. I don't know. I have no idea.
He was insistent about staying with this girl. Wyatt asked him several times to please get on the boat, and the people heard him.
Wasn't his girlfriend.
My son loves him and would never in 1,000,000 years leave him. Warren does not even have a boat. Nolan has been to our house several times, and he is the sweetest friend. We all adore him. Again, when Wyatt asked for him to get on, he said he wanted to stay, and Wyatt's boat started to fill with water. His boat ended up breaking down and was towed in. Now, as shown, Nolan is documented due to his friend's new interview with Rolling Stone to being near everyone at 3:30 p.m. and again at 4 p.m. when the altercation happened, and not 3 p.m. as stated by Warren's stepmom, as well as a leaked message from Warren's actual mom that now places Nolan speaking with his friends about leaving around 4:35 p.m. Again, not 3 p.m. It is under these conditions that speculation has grown and leaves the question of what happened. Now, according to a Facebook post that was made at the top of Nolan's disappearance, the young lady whom he was talking to's sister allegedly looked to have filled in more of what took place. According to her post, as Nolan's friends
Okay, hold on. This post about Katie is suspicious. Katie, and this is how it's written, Katie had a conversation and assumed that Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out in. Katie made it home because she was on another boat with different people. As if Katie wouldn't have made it home. Okay, so it come to find out that allegedly these friends said Katie was missing too at first, but Katie wasn't missing. I don't get that. Then it goes on to say, Katie was safe because my brother and sister-in-law went and got her. That is weird to say. Why wouldn't she be safe? If nothing nefarious was going on, why wouldn't she be safe? But this says that the reason the reason that Katie is safe is because the sister-in-law her brother and sister-in-law went and got her. I want to know I'm just asking, what that brother of Katie, who happens to be white, let's talk about him. How did he feel? Was there any racial issue with your sister, your little, let's see, who is this? Katie, this is his family member, right? Maybe talking to a person of color that happens to be darker skin. Is there some racist there? That needs to be investigated. Okay? That boat needs to be investigated. Was Nolan ever on that brother and sister-in-law's boat? And why is Katie only safe because they came and got her, as if Katie would not have been safe if they didn't go get her? Katie assumed and they put it in quotes, friends. They didn't say Katie assumed the friends. No, they write, look at this, look at the way it's worded. I told you this is all weird. Katie assumed the friends, air quotes, right? Telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. Me and my family have talked and called and are sending up prayers to bring Nolan home. That is nice. But something's all weird there. That is really sus in your opinion. I just find that
with
strange.
ending his conversation with her sister so he can ride back with them. Katie had a conversation and assumed that Nolan was getting ready to get on the boat he came out in. Katie made it home because she was on another boat and with different people. Katie was safe because my brother and her sister-in-law went and got her. Katie assumed the friends telling him to get on the boat wouldn't have left him. Me and my family have talked, called, and are sending up prayers to bring Nolan home. We have given all the answers we can give to his mom and authorities. Now, with this series of information and reports, some are now feeling that Nolan may have been swimming to get on the boat and his friends would leave him in the water, thus being an explanation for some on why his friends are now separating when they last saw Nolan at 3 p.m. and when they left, instead of it all happening at once as first indicated by Warren's mother, to hide that they knew Nolan was in the water to get back on the boat. Now, if this isn't the case and only speculation, then according to these statements and new interview, Nolan's friends would not see him for close to 2 hours, despite him still being documented with being on Horn Island shore with Shepard and others at 3:30 p.m. and later at 4 p.m., right after Shepard's confrontation. A part of that theory, one of the biggest questions that come up is, why was the Coast Guard contacted at 11 p.m. by his friends? Leaving some to speculate that they knew Nolan was in the water when they last saw him, because for some following the case, it makes no sense that his friends would conclude Nolan was in serious danger and is in possible need of search and rescue, when according to them was last seen safely talking to a girl.
Exactly. What triggered the friends to hours and hours later? Okay, let's do this. Let's walk this through. Then I'll get off here. All right, so me and you. Okay, we go out and we're at the beach and we're having a good time and all that. And you're like, I'm gonna hang out with these other friends. I'll see you later. I'm like, all right, you have a good night. I hope you do well. And I get in my boat and I'm like, vroom, vroom. And I'm home and or I'm out to eat or wherever I am. And I'm like, my gosh, I wonder if they're okay. You know what? I'm gonna call the Coast Guard. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, beep. Oh, yeah, hello? Yeah, I want to report my friend missing. Last time I saw him, they were having a good time with another friend and said they were going to go off with that friend. Yeah, I want to report him missing, though. To the Coast Guard, not the police. I want it to be all about, like, the water. Okay, thank you. Did that make sense? No, that didn't make sense. The actions that they took show there's something very, very wrong. They know the boy in the water. How did they know that? How do we know they know that? Because they called the Coast Guard. It just don't work any other way. Nikki says, Idaho 4 all over again. And in my opinion, waiting hours. This is crazy, right? All right, my lovelies. That is what I have for you today. I'm not going to give up on this case. I'm all hot and this boy was like a gift from God. He was, setting the bar really good for people as an example as a young man, not necessarily black or white, just as a young adult, respectful and caring and loving and had a heart. Didn't matter if he's black or white, he's a kid. He's just 18 years old. Now, we're going to stay with this. And oh, please, Lord Jesus, above, please let the truth come out for Nolan Wells. What happened? The family deserves it, but so does Nolan. The truth really needs to happen. All right. I love you guys. I appreciate your time. I know you could do anything else, but you've spent this entire time with me, and your support of this channel has been amazing. The last year, you guys have really pushed this channel to the top on YouTube's list, and I'm always amazed by that. But it does empower me and it inspires me to keep working and to let you be the voice for the voiceless as well by giving you a platform and sharing your comments, as well as me with my soapbox and making sure that these children, our children, right, all over the world, every child is our responsibility. All of them, we're the adults here, that these children get protected, and if something wrong happens, we need to know what happened so we can prevent it from reoccurring. If we don't look at it, if we just go, oh no, that's too messy, that's too complicated, no, I'm just going to ignore that like's happened in the past, it just is going to keep going and going and going, and we're going to lose more and more children. So we have to bring it into the light, no matter how ugly it is, and we have to call it out and say it as it is. Now, right now, we're simply in the stage of speculating, of throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks when the evidence comes out, what makes sense. And that's what they do when all the important investigators and detectives get together. They all speculate. They look at all the scenarios to get to the bottom of it in normal cases. So we're just going to make sure that heat is on, so that investigation for Nolan Wells continues, and that they dig a little deeper and they just go a little bit further to make sure that they are handling his case appropriately. Because right now, all eyes are on that county. I love you guys. I do. I love you to the moon and back forever. And with that, you guys, I will not see you on a case tomorrow. However, we've got our deck party. We do giveaways tomorrow. Really excited to share that with you. Mama D has a shop. It is at 1111decks.com. And I just buy all kinds of really cool things and then throw them in my shop for you. They're all hand-picked. They're all really nice. And I'll let you figure out if there's something there for you. Now, tomorrow on the deck party, I show off some of the spectacular new items and some restocks that y'all been waiting on. And we do a Vanna White giveaway. No, we don't give Vanna White away, but we do a giveaway like Vanna White with the big wheel, right? And your name could be on it. You'll have to find out how your name can get on the giveaway wheel. And maybe you're going to be our mega winner this week. Who knows? We do it every Wednesday, and I can't wait to be there with you. I love you guys. Thank you, Kathy, Nikki UK, Sherry, 12 Cat. Somebody deleted your message. You on the naughty step. Hey, Claudia, Julie, Carla, Nikki UK again, Sash, and a whole bunch of you. And with that, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And let's see if I can do it. I'm getting better because, see, it's my left hand, so it's hard to even snap. All right, let's see if I can pull it off. And I love you, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for all the hype, subscribes, all that. And, okay, ready? I'm so professional, right? Just like that.
From the dust I was born, to the dirt I shall return. When my eyes are closed, in the shadows, my enemies will think they won, but I am here to stay. Destiny phoenix in the night, my soul will rise from the darkness.